please hit that subscribe button. Hey everybody, better suited to win the Stanley Cup this season. If you are new to the channel, Washington Capitals, the Boston Bruins.
Locked on and he scored! And we're live. Hey everybody, so huge video here today. One I am extremely excited about sharing with you. It's my 2020 NHL Draft Prospects ranking video. I'm only doing the top 15 because beyond the top 15, I really think the separation between players really gets smaller and smaller. And there are a number of guys who could possibly go 20, possibly go 23, 24. And what separates those players really isn't as much. And also the top 15 of the lottery picks, those are the big franchise-changing players that really are, could come in and make a serious impact right away. And the players that are most well known and most talked about for sure. So this is actually my first time ever doing a draft rankings video, and I am really excited about it. I put in a lot of time researching, watching highlights and video, and looking at other sources and draft rankings just to try and put this together and do the best rankings that I possibly could. But this is not a carbon copy of any other list. This is my personal draft rankings for the top 15 picks in the coming NHL draft here in 2020. So without any further delay, let's get into it here. Please subscribe if you are new and hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Those likes go such a long way in helping the channel. Let's get started here. Starting at number 1, which I think is very obvious, it's Alexis Lafreniere, the consensus number 1 this year. He's a left winger, 6'1", 192 pounds. All my height and weight stats, actually all of these stats, come from Elite Prospects. So, height and weight are something that you can see listed a little bit differently in different sources. So just know that I used Elite Prospects for all of these. So 6'1", 192 pounds. He's got good size. Lit up the Quebec League the past 2 seasons, but certainly last year, 52 games played, 35 goals, 77 assists for 112 points and 50 penalty minutes in a plus 41 rating. Elite player, going to be a superstar in the NHL. Definitely the consensus number 1. Number 2, I have Quinton Byfield, center from the OHL. Incredible combination of size and skill. 6'4", 214 pounds. Great shot, can pass the puck as well. Obviously, really good size. In the OHL last year, he had 45 games played. He had 32 goals, 50 assists for 82 points, 44 penalty minutes, and a plus 26 rating. Going to be a really good center, I believe, in the NHL. Third, I have Tim Stutzle from Germany. He can play center or wing. I see him more as a center with his elite playmaking ability. But he can play both, and that versatility is obviously really, really good. 6 foot, 187 pounds, so good size to him already. Played in the DEL last year in Germany, so he played against against grown men in a pro hockey league. So that obviously has him adjusted to pro hockey. 41 games played, 7 goals, 27 assists for 34 points, 12 penalty minutes, and a plus 4 rating. Really, really good prospect there. Number 4, I have the first defenseman to go in the draft, and he's pretty much he is the consensus best defensive prospect in this draft. It's Jamie Drysdale from the OHL, 5'11", 170 pounds. Huge offensive upside with this kid. Obviously a little on the smaller side. I am interested to see how he plays defensively at the NHL level, but huge offensive upside, like I said. Great skater, very good puck mover. 49 games played in the OHL last year, 9 goals, 38 assists for 47 points, 24 penalty minutes, and a plus 9 rating. Almost a point per game in the OHL. So you can just see the skill and the talent that he brings. Really excited to see him play. Number 5, I have Lucas Raymond, winger from Sweden, 5'10", 165 pounds. Again, a little on the smaller side, but he did play pro hockey in Sweden in the SHL last year. 33 games played, 4 goals, 6 assists for 10 points with 4 penalty minutes and a plus 6 rating. Now, you might think 10 points, what is that? He's playing pro hockey in Sweden in a very competitive league where he is not, the focal point of the lineup. Like these kids playing in juniors, they're the stars of their teams, but he's playing pro hockey in Sweden where he is not the star of his team. He's playing with grown men and against grown men as a teenager. Not that big of an offensive role, but tons of potential here with Lucas Raymond, tons of talent. People have been comparing him to Mitch Marner, and obviously with his size, that makes sense. If Lucas Raymond can turn into anything like Mitch Marner, who's had 90-plus point seasons in the NHL, I think a team's going to be very, very happy with that. Number 6, I have Cole Perfetti, center/wing. He can play center or wing. Again, love the versatility. From the OHL, 5'10", 185 pounds, pure offensive talent here. One of the best offensive players available in this draft. I think I have him ranked a little higher than some other people do, but man, the talent, the upside here is there's no ceiling. He could become one of the best offensive players in the league. 61 games played last year, 37 goals, 74 assists for 111 points, 16 penalty minutes, and a plus 49 rating. I love what I've seen from Perfetti, and I think the potential upside is just unreal with this kid, and he could become a huge point producer in the NHL. Speaking of point production and offense, at number 7, I have Marco Rossi, center from the OHL. Again, 5'9", 179 pounds, a little on the smaller side, but he lit up the OHL this past season. I think he led the league in scoring with 39 goals, 81 assists for 120 points in 56 games played last year. 40 penalty minutes and a plus 69 as well. Absolutely unbelievable. Just elite offensive upside here in offensive talent, and somebody who can become, I think, one of the best centers in the NHL potentially down the road. Number 8, I have another Swede here, Alexander Holtz, right wing from Sweden, playing in the Swedish league last year. 6 foot, 183 pounds, so he already kind of has NHL size to him. Played pro hockey like Lucas Raymond last season. 35 games played in the SHL, 9 goals, 7 assists, 16 points, 12 penalty minutes, and a -1 rating. Again, not huge point totals, but much like Lucas Raymond, he's playing with men in a fully pro top-tier league. He's not the focal point of the team. He's not the star of the team. He's just a teenager. But the goal-scoring ability is absolutely there with Alexander Holtz, and goal-scoring is obviously something that is greatly valued and looked for in the NHL, and particularly in the draft. Speaking of goal scoring, at number 9, I have a player who I think is the best pure goal scorer, pure sniper in this draft. I have him ranked a little higher than I think a lot of others. I saw him a lot in the 11-12 area. Jack Quinn, I have him as high as 9. I have him up at 9. He's a right winger, 5'11", 176 pounds. Pure goal scorer. Last year in the OHL, he played 62 games, 52 goals, 37 assists for 89 points, 32 penalty minutes, and a plus 48 rating. Throwing everything else out, the one thing that I'm focusing on, 52 goals in 62 games. That is unbelievable. Obviously, that won't directly translate to the NHL right away, but that just shows you the kind of goal-scoring potential that he has, and how good of a sniper he can be. At number 10, I have the consensus second best defenseman in this draft, American defenseman Jake Sanderson from the U.S. National Development Program, 6'1", 185 pounds. Great two-way potential as a two-way defenseman. Someone I certainly think can put up points and also play well in his own zone. Really good at both ends of the ice. Last year with the U.S. national team and with the USHL, combined, he played 66 games, 9 goals, 34 assists for 43 points, 20 penalty minutes, and a plus 6 rating. Really, really like him as a two-way defenseman, and someone who I think will be a top pair two-way defenseman in the NHL. At number 11, I have Anton Lundell, center who played in Finland last year, 6'1", 187 pounds, so he already has NHL size. You look at that height and weight, and you could throw him in an NHL lineup right now. He played in Finland in the top pro league, so again, like the Holtz and Raymond from Sweden, he was playing pro hockey last year. and playing, with and against grown men. I think that helps you make that transition to the NHL and where you're playing, against bigger, tougher, stronger men. 44 games played. He had 10 goals, 18 assists for 28 points, 18 penalty minutes, and a plus 11. The thing with him is great two-way center. There's a little bit of question as to how offensive he's going to be at the NHL. But there's no doubt that he's going to be a great two-way player, someone who certainly is responsible defensively. And if he can add offense to that, then you could potentially see someone modeled after like a Patrice Bergeron or an Alexander Barkov or a Sean Couturier, who are those elite two-way centers in the NHL. Number 12, I have the first goaltender and likely the only goaltender to go in the first round this year. Yaroslav Askarov, Russian goaltender, 6'3", 176 pounds. Just incredibly talented, huge upside with this kid. He did play one KHL game last year and played very well, but he spent most of the year in the VHL, which I believe is one step below the KHL. He played 18 games. He had a .920 save percentage and a 2.45 goals against average. Absolutely outstanding numbers there. But where he really, really shined was on the international stage in World Junior tournaments with Team Russia. He just played lights out in so many of those games and different tournaments and really showed the world what an elite talent he really is. Picking a goaltender in the first round is always risky. You can get Carey Price out of it, or you can get Rick DiPietro out of it, and it can go hard really one of two ways. It's either really bad or really good. Askarov certainly has the potential to be one of the best goaltenders of this next generation in the NHL. Not a guarantee to happen. Nothing with goaltenders is certainly a guarantee. They're risky picks, but if it does go well, he could be one of the best. And number 13, kind of a hot take here-ish, someone that has really been all over the rankings, but I have him pretty high, is Kaiden Guhle, defenseman from the WHL, 6'3", 187 pounds, so NHL size right there. Kind of has an attitude about him as well, which can be a really good thing or a really bad thing. He did compare himself to Drew Doughty, and anytime you do that, you're putting a target on your back. But if he can become that type of player, and I think he certainly has the potential to, then he could be a guy that maybe even being at 13 is too low. 64 games played in the WHL last year, 11 goals, 29 assists for 40 points, 56 penalty minutes, and a plus 23 rating. Definitely a guy that I see two-way potential with. Certainly can put up points, but certainly can play defense and be physical as well in his own zone. Obviously, I talked about his size. I really like that size, 6'3", 187. I think he should put a little more weight on, and I think he will once he gets in an NHL training program. He'll probably go up closer to 200. But really, I guess the thing with Guhle is high risk, high reward. He has tremendous upside potential. He also is a huge risk to become a complete bust in this draft. I think it's going to go one of those ways. He's either going to become a top level guy or he's going to completely flame out. But I really like the upside potential with him. And at 14, I have a center/wing, another guy who can play either, Dawson Mercer from the Quebec League, 6 feet, 179 pounds. He played 42 games last year. He had 24 goals, 36 assists for 60 points, 25 penalty minutes, and a +5 rating. Really a solid player here. This is a guy who you kind of know what you're going to get. He may not ever be an elite top line guy, but he might end up being a really, really good second line type guy. And I think this is a safe pick just because you're going to get a solid player here. Everything we've seen from him shows that he's going to be a solid player, but you just don't know what the ceiling is. You don't know how high up he could go in a lineup, but you do know that there's a pretty good floor there, that he at the very least is going to probably be a solid middle of the lineup center in the NHL. So really low risk pick there with Dawson Mercer. And last but certainly not least, at number 15, I have Seth Jarvis, center from the WHL, 5'10", 172 pounds, again on the smaller side, but coming from the WHL, which is certainly the most rough and tumble of the Canadian junior leagues, I think that gets you the most physically prepared for the NHL, playing in the WHL. And as a smaller player, he was able to put up a huge number of points in the WHL, and I think that physically prepared him to put up a good number of points at the NHL level as well. 58 games played last year, 42 goals, 56 assists for 98 points, 24 penalty minutes, and a plus 53 rating. Really good two-way player. And I don't think his size is going to be a hindrance to him at all. I think he knows how to work through it, work around that, and still be a highly, highly productive forward. So those are my top 15 guys for the draft rankings in 2020. There were a couple guys, there were a few guys, obviously just on the outside of the top 15. One guy that I almost put in the top 15 was Braden Schneider, another WHL defenseman like Kaiden Guhle. Really good two-way potential. He's got great size to him. I believe he's 6'2", 209, so NHL body for sure. I really like him a lot. And Dylan Holloway's another one I really like a lot. I think he could, coming out of Wisconsin in college hockey, I think he could be a real big talent down the road in the NHL. But obviously there were others as well. But I want to keep this to my top 15. So with that, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon and merchandise store are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.